In today's episode of Building Pathfinder, I will go over how my crate holder, or cargo bed, whatever you want to call it, and some initial tests following a path. The tests gave some lovely feedback telling me how broken my robot is, but you'll see throughout the video how I fix it and some technical stuff too. If you're one of my friends, you'll probably skip towards the ends because you're a good-for-nothing a-hole, but just make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. The same goes for anyone else who watches this video actually. Like and subscribe. The first, well, this was meant to go in here. I had to cut it down because I got my measurements wrong. If you can see, this was meant to go in here. And hold on, bear with me. There. This was meant to go in there and lift it up. But what I didn't take into account was the actual servo being in the way and not letting me lift it. Oh, flip it around. Yep, I can't lift that up. So I will have to redesign the bottom of my thing, and as I just shown you, if I put my servo in the middle, because initially I had, if I show you, no, wrong side. Where is that happy servo? There we go. Initially I had my servo going in here. This is meant to be on the side, well, this side, but just for the video, I'm going to show you this side, and it was meant to lift it up, but it doesn't work because the servo is in the way. So I'm going to have to ditch this idea, put my servo in the middle. So I'm going to have to change the design of this and have my servo lifted up, and it should work. Well, yeah. After displaying a mild stroke, I began taking measurements for my new, cargo holder. I actually had a few design ideas before that where I shoved the servo more into the side panel, but obviously there are two side panels on each side, both being symmetrical in dimensions. And in between the two panels I need to fit my 5x5 package. The platform of the bed is the exact right dimensions to hold the package, so I would have had to make one of the panels bigger by making the other thinner. That doesn't help the aesthetics, so I decided to redesign the lifting mechanism instead. I made all my designs using a CAD program called Fusion 360, which I then exported, the files are then exported into a software that cuts the design into layers, then instructions that the 3D printer can understand. The crate holder is the only component I printed with my printer, so before I decided to print the whole piece, I wanted to make sure my new design even worked, so I only printed the necessary surfaces for testing. So there are a few projects / upgrades that I would like to do to my printer, such as Octoprint. It's basically a software that lets you control the printer via Wi-Fi. One of the core features is the time-lapse, which I could include in future videos whenever I print something. Maybe I could actually make it an interactive project with you guys, where you buy the equipment, and I install it. As you can see, I printed it. Came out with a little bit of warping, but it should be okay. Slight problem, this doesn't fit. It's too big. Miscalculation on my part. So I'll use this broken one for now. Well, not broken, I'll cut it on purpose so it can fit. Anyway. This is just a test to see if my mechanism will work. I've already tested it, but I didn't film it, so an inclination of 60 degrees. Yeah, lifts it up. Technically, it would be like that. Right. So it should stay like that. I've put this in the middle, but I'm thinking, I don't remember which part of my front, but I'm thinking of leaning it more towards the back. And I think I'm going to have to screw this in so it locks in place and doesn't prevents it from moving around. What I might include as well is, seeing as I'm going to make it stay at one, well, go to a certain angle, is have some sort of supports here at that angle, so it prevents it from wobbling. But we'll see. But so far, it should work. Alright, before I explain the problem, I'm going to explain the situation of my project. We've acquired a breadboard. We've also acquired another IR sensor. There it is. I've got 3 now. I haven't plugged up the Sony yet, but everything's plugged up. Everything's wired up, smooth correctly. We've also got a 12 volt battery, or a 9 volt battery. Anyway, today's test was to see how well these sensors were working. And I've got the serial monitor on because we're just going to see how well it works. I tried it on that piece of crap paper. Awful paper. Awful test. Doesn't work because, first of all, the line follower is way too far from the paper. Not close enough to the ground, so it's not registering 1. So if we look, I'll have to add, hold on. Put that like that. Oh, something just finished printing. Anyway, if we, it says no track. And that's because there is no track. There's no white, there's no black line for it to follow. So it says no track. Now it's on track. But obviously, the further I get it, there's no readings. And it just says onwards. Because I've made it to go on forward when all the sensors are on 0, so the sensors go on 0 when they are on the black line, and it's clearly not doing that. Now it's on track. Put it on one side, off left, off to the right, no track. Oh, I should say no track. No track. It says onwards when it's both on black lines, but I really should delete that because there wouldn't be a situation where it would be on black lines unless the line was like that, and I wouldn't really want that. Oh, actually, in case my robot deviates, but anyway, so we've got a problem. This is too far for it to sense anything. As you can see, put it on the ground. There's just no track wherever it goes. No track. Now, I've got another one. Same principle. And my IR sensor, as you can see, is much closer to the ground, but the wire fits perfectly, as you can see. I will have to shorten these wires, obviously I don't want them poking out, but everything fits nicely. I was a bit worried about the breadboard at first because it's wham compared to the needs, everything I need to do. All that's left is to put the crate holder and the servo, and I should have a complete robot project. To fix the sensor problem, I wanted to try lowering the sensors to the point where they were basically touching the ground, so I resized that component and then printed it with my printer. I may have previously said that the cargo holder was the only part I printed with my printer, but that was a mistake and I really can't be asked to record the audio again. But anyway, watch me install the new resized component.
Yo, GG! Turn it up!
So now that the sensors are a lot closer to the ground, practically touching, they are definitely more effective and actually work this time. In the original video of this clip, I'm pathetically trying to form a coherent sentence. I'm just waffling, saying absolutely nothing. But what I meant to say was I took some code from another robot and uploaded it into Pathfinder. As you can tell, he doesn't agree with the code, because as soon as there's any curve that causes him to deviate and he turns in the wrong direction, then just stops moving, probably because I didn't fully adapt the code for him, and because as soon as he detects no track, it's programmed not to move. But on a positive note, the line is detectable, so the sensors are the correct height. It's just a case of debugging my code, which I will show you in the next video. Actually, I've already finished and presented my project. Fully works, but I'm just taking ages to edit the content. Yeah. It's going, I might do this in the morning when my mind actually works, but to redeem myself, same code. And it works, so